All right, let's go ahead and get started today. I don't know if I'm going to sound like a broken record every day, but self-development is always going to be the first thing. And then our 3 steps and our stories. I split mine up a little bit today, so I did my capsules in there first, and then I'm going to do my other parts. So if you have not put that in your stories, make sure that you've put your 3 steps in your stories. The reason we do that, of course, is because it shows consistency with what we do every day, and then we start the rest of our day and live through our story. So make sure that you have done that, and let's go ahead and move on to our birthdays inside of Facebook, and let's do that. Today is Baron's birthday. I'm a mother of a 25-year-old. That's so crazy. Good morning, Jessica. We are doing birthdays. muted. If you didn't get all your birthdays done, make sure, just make a note to go back and finish those up somewhere throughout the day today. Let's go ahead and let's stay in Facebook, and let's go to your page, and let's go to yesterday's posts. And number one, let's go ahead, and if you posted a picture at one point in the day, go ahead and tag yourself by clicking on that picture. Tag yourself in the picture. And then I want you to click on the comments, make sure that you loved all the people that that commented, and then make sure that you made some sort of comment after each of those. Sometimes I have to go back the following, and sometimes I have more today than I had yesterday on it, so I have to go back and revisit that area. And then if you don't have a, I don't know if you guys have a list of non-thrivers within your Facebook or not. I created a list. I will have to look up notes to tell you how to do that exactly, but I can, if anybody wants to know that, message me privately. There's a way that you can actually create a list, and you can add it to your non-thrivers list. And that's a good way to pull up your non-thrivers list and go in and communicate with those people every day. But if you just have a notebook or whatever you have, click on all the people that loved on it, and those are the people that we're going to be reacting with today. So without your pen and paper, just click on those people if they're non-thrivers, and go to their post or go to their page and click on something that they posted maybe yesterday or the day before, and go ahead and do some sort of conscious comment on some of those that are not thrivers. If you don't have any people that are not thrivers, go to a post before that, okay? And it's also, if you have mostly that it's thrivers, it might be a good indicator to you that that's a lot of who you're communicating with. So we need to kind of swap that up a bit. We're going to do that for until 9:15. Okay, let's get ready to go ahead and finish up there. And being that it's National Nurses Week, it's Mother's Day coming up. Is anyone doing anything? Have you posted anything that's getting a lot of responses, or are you sending messages? Like, what's everybody doing there? Somebody can unmute and pop in.
I thought the Thrive Skin gift set would be a good idea, but I haven't had a lot of, I haven't had a lot of interest in that. But I thought it would be, with everybody locked in at home. I mean, what are your options for buying your mom something? It's got to be online.
Yeah.
Or your
Well,
wife
and the
or
other thing
whoever.
I thought of, I had ordered some of the sample Thrive Skin, so I was throwing that in with sample packs this week, like for moms, that sort of thing. Definitely recommend doing one of your posts, maybe asking an interactive post, asking the question to moms. Like I made one late last night about there was one thing, you could have, what would it be? And of course, some people are responding with, if I could talk to my mom one more time, or, just different things like that, but it's getting a lot of responses on it. So do something interactive with Mother's Day to get some sort of response going on. You can always throw it out there. Moms, if you could have one thing, would it be better sleep, more energy? You can always throw something out there like that, or you can do a generic one that might get a lot more non-thrivers commenting. It's hard to say, but that should give you a list, to kind of go with there as well. So I just, wanted to bring that up with that coming up, that might be an opportunity for you to create some sort of interactivity with that type of post. Nurses Week, that continues to happen. The ones that I know of that are nurses that are non-thriving, I've been messaging privately saying, hey, just, wanted, happy nurses, National Nurses Day. Just know that you are appreciated and prayed for, and just relationship kind of thing. You can, of course, take that a step further, and you can offer to send them something if they, may I send you something just to show my appreciation. If you wanted to sample someone in that way, you could certainly do that. But those are just some things inside of Facebook that, that I wanted to bring to your attention that are happening, because it's a little bit different in Instagram world. Okay. So, as far as your stories go, one of the things I wanted to talk about today with your stories is doing some research. One of the things that I've noticed with hashtags, and I know Carrie messaged me last night and she's about to choke over hashtags. But one of the things that I researched and watched things on last night was on hashtags, and it talked about hashtags in your stories versus hashtags in your posts on Instagram. And of course you can put up to 15 on your stories, but there was research shown that the top 3 are the ones that are looked at the most. Like those are the ones that are going to pop up. And oddly enough, it said to use broad ones on your stories versus the non-broad ones that we use on your page. Okay, so so that's something that I'm going to be doing. And of course, the location always is going to matter. And one of the things that it pointed out with your locations is that you, instead of putting, we've talked about this, where you put your location wherever you are. Right now it's at your house, so that's a little bit different. But like if you went to a restaurant, or if you went to someplace, a shop or something like that, to make sure that you hashtag that place, because not only is it going to hashtag the place, but it's going to hashtag the city, like that brings the city, and that also brings the state. So that one hashtag does several different things for you. Rather than putting Florida, you would put Auburndale, Florida. You see what I'm saying? So you get a lot more out of the hashtag in that way. One thing that someone did, which I thought was brilliant, because I haven't thought to do this, but when you're getting new followers on, when you're getting that notification that someone new started following you, go to their stories and then press the message button, and there's a microphone there. and record yourself saying, hey, thanks for following me. Just wanted to introduce, myself. My name is Theresa. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Do that voice message, because just like in Facebook on Messenger, they're going to listen to see what you have to say. So that was a really good tidbit, I thought, to use that voice recording to introduce yourself, or you can do that in the same way with birthdays. If you had birthdays on Facebook and you happen to have people on Instagram as well, if you don't, search those people on Instagram, so that's a great way to figure out if you have them in both areas, because your content's a little bit different with both. But I thought that was a really smart thing to do, was to use that for responsiveness, to use that voice recording in that area. So let's go ahead and go inside of your Instagram, and I want you to go to, just because we've been talking about hashtags, I want you to go, let me see where I found it. Go inside of your page. I think everyone probably pretty much has a business account at this point, so you can see your insights. Go to the 3 lines at the top and go to your insights. And let's see where I found it. Go to the picture. Let's say, for instance, go to the picture that you see from your insights that has the absolute most on it. Okay, so that should be in picture number 1. Click on that, and then I want you to click on View Insights. And what's really cool, if you have been using hashtags, is under impressions, you can see how many came from hashtags. That should make you feel better about hashtags. If you don't, and if it doesn't, then maybe it helps you do that research to figure out that, because I was shocked to see that 188 of mine came from hashtags. So, just when you don't think something is working properly, then you realize, even if you had 5 that came from hashtags, okay, then that means those 5 people wouldn't have seen it without you using that hashtag. Okay, so that was something that I noticed this morning, and I was like, wow, that's really awesome. I was surprised that it did that much. So doing that homework on your hashtags does make a difference with doing that. So, okay, so I just wanted to show you where that was, because it's another way that you can kind of do an analysis to do your analytics and figure out your hashtags that are working and things like that. It's not going to break them down, and it's not going to say it's because of this hashtag. It's not going to do that. Okay, but go to that grouping of hashtags that you used and kind of figure out what you used. Okay, because if that one got you the most, then maybe you should be using those hashtags. Okay, so okay, so let's go ahead and go to your following area. Let me go back to my page. And then today I want you to go under your categories, and I want you to see least interacted with. Okay, I want you to click on that. And some of these people for me are non-thrivers, because I don't like communicate a lot with, thrivers, because I don't communicate a lot with my thrivers. Okay, so so I want you to go ahead, and I want you to go to the pages in here and start interacting with these people. Okay, some of these people are people that I added in the very beginning, I've noticed, because some of these people are from my old place of employment, or they're people that I really haven't. And you may decide on some of these people that you want to unfollow them, or you may decide, how do I find least interact with? Do you not have a category that says that? Mine has categories. It says most shown in feed, and it says least interacted with. If you don't have that, then just go to your, does anybody else not see that?
Where did you go again?
I went to following,
Mm-hmm.
and then mine says categories. Yours doesn't say categories?
Mine just says people and hashtags at the top when I click on following. Is that what you clicked on at the top? You clicked on your following?
Clicked on following, and then I see categories.
Yeah, no, I don't get
Anyone
that.
else not see categories? Y'all don't see categories?
Sometimes, I don't know. Denise, how many followers do you have?
1272.
Okay. See, sometimes it depends on the number of followers as to what you get access to, and I don't have But I would think at 1,000, you get access to pretty much,
I would
know.
think so.
I'm not there
If you
yet.
don't
so.
have that, then go to either your earliest or your latest and work inside of there. Yeah, mine are categorized. It says least interacted with. And I like that because whenever you interact with those people, let's say we interacted with 20, every time you interact with somebody, it's going to take them off of that list of least interacted with, and then it's going to add people to it.
I have it, and I have way less followers than that. So I went to where it says, where I clicked on my followers, and then it shows me where I clicked at the top, it says followers or following, click following, and then it has least interacted with.
Yeah, see, that's what I have.
And most shown in feed.
Yep, that's exactly what I have. The only other thing I can think of is if you don't have the latest version downloaded, like, how sometimes an update needs to happen or something like that. So maybe jot that down and see if that's it. But otherwise, naturally just go in and look at the ones that you've done the latest and interact with those. I like to do the least interacted simply because it filters new ones in there. So I kind of try to do it every other day. Some days I do least interacted, and then tomorrow I'll do earliest, and then I'll do latest, as far as interactions go. So we're going to spend about 4 more minutes inside of there. Okay, now something to look at today with your stories as you're interacting with your stories, and thinking about what to post on your next story. Ask a question in your in your story. Maybe put one of those gifts on there that does a poll, or maybe do something like, there's the fun one that kind of you slide it to the side. But ask a question inside of your story, and just to get some more reactions going with that. And then those are the people that you'll be reacting with perhaps tomorrow, okay, as you're kind of checking your polls to see with your stories. Same thing with your post today. It's almost a joke to me now, but I've been working with this with Tailwind. Poor Jessica, hers is working beautifully, by the way. She's been doing it so that it does an auto post for her. If you haven't looked at Tailwind, it's actually really cool. You have to go in and you have to change. I went in and changed my hours that I work it, Jessica, and then when I did that, it regenerated the times I should post instead of put in the 1 a.m. times. So you might want to look at that. And then it told me, because what it does is it goes inside your Instagram account and it does the homework for you as far as giving analytics go, and it tells you when you're most going to get you're going to get the most out of your post, basically. And so literally I am on my 4th time of trying to auto post. The really cool thing about it, especially with people, being a little bit hard about hashtags, is as you're writing your content inside of that one, it suggests hashtags for you, and then there's a button that you click and it will automatically put it in the first comment for you, which is really cool. So it's a work smarter, not harder kind of thing. And the really neat thing is that you can go in and literally, if you're one of those people, you can go in and set up your entire week's posts to go in at optimal times. So if you're one of those people that's going to sit down and do a power hour and plan out your posts for the week, literally you can blow it out in an hour, and then you're going to be spending your time doing reactions and comments and things like that, versus, okay, I'm going to spend an hour today trying to figure out what I'm going to post and then what time, and all those things. So it's kind of one of those tools, and you don't necessarily have to use that one, but I'm just letting you know that there's availability out there to do those things for you, so that it helps you with your analytics to figure out when you're going to get the most out of your post. There's also an auto story generator in there. You can schedule stories to go in as well. Because you also get analytics and insights with your Instagram stories. If you go and you look at your insights, you can see what got you stuff out of your stories as well. Okay, so both of those avenues are definitely something you want to do. Just realize that with Instagram and with Facebook, what they're trying to do is they're trying to reward the people that are getting people to stay in Facebook the longest, getting people to stay in Instagram the longest. So your content inside of your Instagram, sometimes your your caption needs to be longer, because they want people inside of there reading your story, reading your content, and then reacting and then commenting on your post. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you do inside of your Instagram is you want to make sure that you put some sort of call to action at the end, whether it's asking a question, or what did you do? If it's about, I don't know, if it's about Wednesday, what did you do? Did you do something fun today? Or what do you do in this case? Or whatever your call to action is at the end. But you're going to get a lot more people commenting if you write something at the end. I know that's something I haven't necessarily been doing, so that's something I'm going to be implementing. But there's definitely a lot more. Also inside of Tailwind, there is like, if you don't know what your you have your content, you can put your picture, and then there's an area in there that you can go and it gives you suggestions for content, which I thought was really great, because it's things that I haven't thought of, and some of it's asking questions, some of it's doing polls, some of it's, just creating content or getting you to think of something that you could write about inside of that picture. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up, because if you haven't had a chance to look at that one, I think that one is super helpful. Some of what I've been doing, like my scheduled post for today is at, I don't know, 8:36 p.m. tonight. And I literally had to go in and I had to message somebody inside of Tailwind and say, listen, I have tried to do this 3 times now and I'm on the 4th one. And does it look like it's set up right? And they're like, yes, it looks like it's set up right. I didn't have it connected right before. If it doesn't post, then let me know. And then they're there, like I can figure it out. So, so one of the things I want to say about apps is that just, you know, or hashtags or any of it, if you're having a struggle or if you're, you know, you feel like you're not sure or whatever, don't give up on it. You know, keep working on it, because some of these apps, especially, there's help there to help you figure it out. You know, it's just like when you first became a promoter, you know, you didn't necessarily know what to do, but what did you do? You kept working at it and you kept learning and you're figuring it out and that kind of thing. And it's the same thing with Instagram. It's the same thing, probably the same way you felt about Facebook in the beginning. Okay. So it's one of those things that's going to kind of be a work in progress. So just, you know, just keep doing it, because we haven't been doing it correctly for long enough to see a lot of rewards out of it. I know, Sundays, I want to bring this up really quick before we pop off of here, but I have an app, like it's an unfollow app that you can, it'll go in and it'll tell you all the people that unfollowed you in Instagram. And the reason it's important to know that is those are no longer your potentials, because they're not seeing any of your content anymore. Okay, so Sundays are the day that I plug that in, and unfortunately, it's not like a bot, so it's not going to go in and remove people for you. You're going to have to go in and handwrite down the people that unfollowed you. Okay, I don't know. I got 30 new followers, but I had 8 unfollow. So I need to know who those 8 people are so that I can go in and unfollow those. Okay, so that's something to write down. There's lots of different apps out there. So just look up unfollow on Instagram in your search bar for settings, or in your apps, and then you'll have to manually make a list and go in and unfollow those people. Okay, so because some of your followers are doing it just so that you'll follow them, and then they have that game of going back and unfollowing you. So so that's just something to clean up on Sundays, and that'll help start fixing your number too, where your number is higher in the followers area than the following area. Okay, so so those are just some things that I wanted to bring up as far as that go. Try to use a 5-minute rule whenever you are working inside of Facebook, or whether you're working inside of Instagram, where you're going to go in and you're going to love things, you're going to respond to things, you're going to add people. Okay, those are the things that you should be doing while you're working in those things, instead of getting caught in the scroll of seeing different things. A lot of people ask me if I see stuff now, and I truly don't, unless I was tagged to it or something like that, because I'm not scrolling, but I'm building my business better now than I was before, because my hours aren't spent like being nosy on Facebook anymore, being nosy on Instagram. Instead, it's worked in a way that I'm actually working my business like I should be. So especially with everybody home, the more time you have, the more time you waste, you know, and I know I figured that out when I stopped working. All of a sudden I felt like I was going to get all this stuff done, and you kind of do in the beginning, but then you kind of lose the schedule. And then all of a sudden you're like, dang, it's 4 o'clock, like, and I don't feel like I did very much today. So, I mean, you know, and since you guys have been home, you see probably what I'm talking about. But unless you have that schedule and you're like, okay, 5 minutes, I have 5 minutes right now at 9:45, I'm working Instagram, and this is what I'm doing right now, you know? And so that'll help you from getting caught in that scroll, and alleviate some time with you to learn and to work. I spend more time learning things now than I do inside of those search engines for things. Okay, so and if there's a topic you don't know, research it. I mean, like literally, I have been watching YouTube videos on hashtags. I mean, literally, I typed it in last night and was like hashtags, and watched a whole bunch of different things on hashtags, because I want to know the ins and the outs. I want to know, because I do know that is one way that is super, super crucial in building your Instagram following and your Instagram business, is by using those hashtags. So it's imperative that we know how to use them. So, so that's just something I wanted to say out there as far as self-development goes and things like that. today's National Day of Prayer. So if you, evidently it's the first Thursday in May. I never knew exactly what day it was, but it's National Day of Prayer. So if you want to do something with your posts revolved around that, or if you want to research that, that's something to think about as well. Lots of different ideas for posting, really, because you've got the nurses, you've got the mothers, you've got National Prayer Day, you've got lots of things, lots of topics you can kind of research and post things after. Trying to think of something else for Mother's Day. If anybody is doing anything, or if anybody has any ideas, or anything like that, definitely a time you could sample, for Mother's Day, just different things like that. That's pretty much where I'm going with it. Today is throwback, so that's always kind of fun too, or thankful. It's a good day to shout out people for absolutely zero reason at all. Just to go in and spread some love on there. So it is a good day to love on your team, to throw some, to put some encouraging words out there on somebody's page as well. So, and I'm going to throw out a silent prayer request for someone on our team. So if everybody would just know that out loud, and just there's just a prayer request out there. Just know that. And, somebody definitely needs us to be covering them right now. So just know and understand that. And I know you guys are like me. I pray for everybody on our team every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't do that. But if you guys need anything, or, anything, by all means, we're all here for each other, and that's what we're here for. So I had a 2 o'clock open up today. If anybody needs points, I'm available for an interview. If anybody wants to throw one together, or a call, I had one scheduled, and that's another person that needs prayers. Something's going on in her world too today. So anybody have anything before we pop off? All right, let's go ahead and pop off. I'll post tomorrow's. Leanne's is tomorrow. I have not talked to her and Amanda yet, but usually I talk to them today. And then tomorrow's will be at 9:30, and more than likely it's going to be using Leanne's number. So I'll post that later today so that you'll have that information. Okay. All right. You guys have a good day. Bye.